Talking a little bit about defensive stance now. First thing we want to do is get in a nice, comfortable, athletic stance. That might be a little different for everyone, right? But usually, feet outside your shoulder width, you should be able to sit to engage your hips. So you use your thighs and your butt. Your weight is on the balls of your feet, not your heels, and you're ready to change direction. Hands are out and busy. If you're contesting shots, pressuring a ball handler, contesting passing lanes, we want busy hands. The shuffle mechanic we want to work on is, if we break it down, is lift, reach, push. So I want to lift my lead leg, reach out with it, and push out with my base leg to start. So lift, reach, push, lift, reach, push, lift, reach, push, lift, reach, push. That's the slow motion version. We want to speed that up, game speed. Cues are keeping our head level, so we're not really bobbing up and down. We're keeping a nice centered balance, and we got a wide base, able to initiate and take contact. Defensively, we want to have busy minds, busy hands, and a busy mouth. So we got to think and anticipate what's going on defensively. We want to dictate with our body, our feet, and our hands, and we want to communicate that information to our teammates with a busy mouth. With our hand pressure, we want to focus on a couple things. One would be taking away the crossover dribble. So if I'm in a proper defensive stance, I'm athletic, wide base, arm length away from the defense. My first hand pressure is a crossover hand, especially when there's a live dribble. I do not want the ball coming back to an area that I'm trying to keep them out of. For our teams, we want to force sideline, keep the ball in the middle. So I have a crossover hand down, I have a pass deflector, or a busy hand here anticipating a passing lane, maybe get a deflection or a steal outright. With my hands, I can stay busy. If he's lazy with the ball, I could pop it loose, knock it down, or try for a deflection. When tracing the basketball, there's a couple things we want to focus on. Of course, arm length away, maintain our wide defensive stance we talked about, sitting in an athletic. When the ball's in the middle, right in front of you, you want to get two hands in front of the ball. So as it goes around, I could trace and try and disrupt a pass. If the ball gets outside my base, I don't want to lean with both hands and shift my weight because it puts me off balance. I just want to follow with one hand, keep one hand in front of the ball. As it comes back to the middle, I can get two there again. If it goes the other way, I just extend with one and try and keep a hand in front of the passing lane. Be disruptive, but don't put yourself off balance. When teaching the defensive shuffle, there's a couple areas that we focus on. We try to break down the mechanic of shuffling. A lot of times kids will just go through it really quick. They'll end up clicking their heels and their body will go up and down, up and down. Bad for a couple of reasons. You're not on balance a lot and you're really susceptible to change of direction. As I'm in the air with my feet together, if someone changed direction on me, you might end up on a video. So we want to work on a low wide stance. We're going to lift with our lead leg. We're going to reach and push at the same time and maintain a shuffling position with my head level. So I lift, reach, push. Lift and reach, push with this leg. Maintaining my head at a level as if I have a plate on my head, I don't want to drop it. Lift, reach, push. Lift, reach, push. Lift, reach, push. Here's a drill we like to do that works on a drop step, a shuffle, and an advanced step. So we have the kids just come play an imaginary offensive player. I'll use the basketball for that purpose. We get in a good defensive stance, forcing a sideline. Crossover hand, pass deflector. We retreat twice, two shuffles. 1, 2. We pretend the ball handler drags the ball back. Advanced step, high hand. The ball handler cuts against my high leg. Push, drive my elbow, bang, into a drop step. Again, 2 retreat steps. 1, 2, advanced step, contest, push off, drop step. Bang, bang. Looks a little bit like this. Shuffle, shuffle, advance, drop. Shuffle, shuffle, advance, drop. Shuffle, shuffle, advance, drop. We start from the 3-point line, end up on the baseline, rotate athletes, get a few sets and reps in, helps you with your defense. A deny stance is a closed stance. My chest is facing the offensive player's chest. Where an open stance, I would have point to my check and see the ball, and my chest would most likely face the ball the rest of the action. But when we're asked to deny a player, that means we do not want him to catch the basketball. So a deny stance would occur. I want to make sure my bottom foot is below his bottom foot. If my bottom foot is above his bottom foot, I'm susceptible to a backdoor cut. I want to take that away. My job as a deny defender is to make my check, if they catch the ball, catch it going away from the basket and far away from the basket. And the way I do that is with my body positioning. Bottom foot below his bottom foot, hand in the passing lane. The passing lane is from his chest to the ball. I do not need my body in the passing lane. Again, I'm too susceptible to back cuts. I want to give myself that little cushion so I can react to his movement. Hand in the passing lane, thumb down, palm out. The reason we ask our players to do this is so we can knock down a pass, and that really becomes our first dribble as we sprint out in transition after a steal. I take my chin and I put it on my shoulder. That gives me vision. So now I could open up my peripheral, I can see the ball, I can see my check, and I can react. I take my offhand, I make a fist, I put it on my chest, and this becomes my flipper. There's a referee standing right there. We don't want to have an open arm where we end up grabbing or getting our arm caught up with the defense and risk a possible foul. So with my flipper, I can maintain my balance and hopefully force the defender where I want them to go. If they start to cut out, I shuffle. It's almost like a fencer stance we talk about with kids, a lot of the Olympic stuff. Bang, it's a lunge, hand in the passing lane. If they back cut me, I want to stay below him and keep my hand in the passing lane. I don't want to get too greedy and get up in the passing lane and be susceptible to a back cut. So this becomes a foot fight, a reactionary drill, where as he moves, go a little faster, I got to stay below him, and if he back cuts, I got to push off and maintain my position and my vision. Another important factor to consider is we want to get a little more physical the closer we get to the basket. As our check gets farther away from the basket, as they cut out, I can get more up the passing line. As long as my hand is still in that passing line, I'm up the line, but I'm on the passing line still. This gives me a little more room to react. It also allows me to help my defender. In case the ball handler beats my teammate, I swing step, open up, I'm in a help position. If the ball gets passed again, all this is one more push back into a deny. After he cuts more to the hoop, I want to be able to control him, stay below. If a shot goes up, I already have good position to box out, get a steal, and go get the basketball. Typically, we teach two closeouts, a short closeout and a long closeout. And also, depending on what the age group is, with older players that are better shooters, we either run kids off the line and turn them into ball handlers, or we contain. So typically in youth basketball, the shooting proficiency is a little lower, so we prefer to contain. And the pass goes to the check I'm responsible for at the moment. I gotta turn from my help position, sprint to get there as quickly as possible, and then get myself under control so I don't get beat off the dribble. A lot of coaches teach while 2/3, 1/3, we sprint 2/3 the distance, and then we chop our feet, get low and control our body for the last 1/3. Ending up in an on-ball position where I'm arm length away, I'm taking away the middle of the floor, my gate is flat, so if I draw a line from toe to toe, it should end up going to a sideline, not a baseline. Again, once we get in that position and we're stable, we're pressuring the ball with our hands, whether that's a dig, a trace, or a contest. So it looks a little like this. With driving line defense, we want to take away the driving line. Basically, the line between the ball and the offensive player to the rim. So I want to be in that line, but I also want to influence. So usually my defensive stance, arm length away, Just enough so I can be disruptive on the ball, but not so close where I give an advantage to the offense. This gap that I maintain, my arm length gap, gives me time to react to an offensive player's move. So on driving line defense, I want to be in the driving line, but now your coach may ask you to force middle or force baseline. So how do we force without giving up a line to the rim? We try and just shift our body weight, our position, just so my high foot is outside his high foot. If my high foot is inside his high foot, I'm susceptible to a drive to the rim, and I'm giving up middle. That'd be more of a force middle. A force sideline, which is more traditional, would be I take away the high foot, I'm arm length away, this hand here is applying defensive pressure. I'm trying to dissuade a drive to the middle, and if I drew a line from my toes, toe to toe, and keep going, it should hit a sideline, not a baseline. If I give up a baseline, again, I'm probably giving up a driving line to the rim. We're going to talk a little bit about maintaining a defensive gap. So a lot of times we perform our defensive skills excellent. We sprint, we close out, or we deny, or we're on ball D. Everything's perfect, arm length away, feet are good, hand pressure, but then the dribble drive starts. And as he drives, we get into him and we start to body, and either we get called for a foul or we get beat. So ideally, what we want to do is we want to maintain our defensive gap. So a defensive gap, I define as arm length away. I gotta be close enough, usually touch his hip. In reality, I gotta be close enough to hit the ball or take the ball if the defense presents it, or is sloppy with it, or if they lose it. So I don't wanna be far away where they do not feel any pressure. I don't wanna be too close where I give an advantage to the offense. I wanna have my gap so I can react while still maintaining good ball pressure. If he's loose with the ball, I could take it. As he drives, I gotta maintain that gap and still have pressure on the basketball. Easier said than done, but something we should work at every day. Rebounding is one of those things that's a little bit of technique and a lot of heart, a lot of effort, a lot of anticipation. So we're at the point now where we're teaching kids two things. One is either just go get it, be faster, anticipate, be faster mentally and athletically, and go get the ball. The other one is hit and release. So if I'm guarding a check somehow and the shot goes up and this person may be an active rebounder, I may step and jam them once, just hit, and then I want to release and go attack the ball. Too often we have kids jamming, holding, and the ball is free play and other people run in and get it. This is still your rebounding area. You want to go get the ball. Unless you've been told directly by your coach that this D-man is an unreal rebounder and we want him nowhere near the paint. Here's a little rebounding finishing drill we like to do. We just simply call it chin-chest outlet. So a lot of times in basketball, kids will work for a rebound or they'll come to them and they intern with the ball and present it to the defense. This is not a strong position. Okay, we like to get the ball under our chin, just in front of our chest, and we squeeze it. We put power into the ball. And this is a bit more of a triangle, which allows me to apply more pressure to the ball, and we're much more secure. So we start with a toss off the backboard. We ask the athletes to get up as high as they can, suck it right into a chin-chest position, clear any defenses that are around them. My forearms and my elbows are out, so draw fouls if people try and tie up the basketball. Clear, eyes up, look for an outlet pass, or we push it with the dribble and get our transition going. One of the most important keys to having a fast breaking team is clearing the outlet as quick as possible. Rebound and go.